Intent on distracting themselves, most Romans didn't notice the social fabric of their empire shredding all around them. Rome's sense of community had disappeared. The elite were increasingly isolated from the poor. In the provinces and periphery of empire, resentment festered. The great Roman orator, Cicero, had foreseen it all.
Words cannot express, gentlemen, how bitterly we will be hated among foreign nations because of the outrageous conduct of the men we have sent to govern them. All the provinces are complaining about Roman greed and Roman injustice. I remind you, gentlemen, Rome will not be able to hold out against the whole world. I do not mean against its power and arms in war, but against its groans and tears and lamentations.
The American Republic is in remnant status. The stage is set for our country eventually devolving into a military dictatorship, and few seem to care.
By the year 300, there were almost 500,000 Roman soldiers, and the legions were still growing. The only way to maintain this gigantic military machine was taxation. Taxes rose and inflation spiraled. Roman currency, the denarius, was progressively devalued. Once again, ordinary Romans bore the brunt. Beset by enemies without and turmoil within, the empire tried desperately to tighten its grip. Along with the army, the whole apparatus of imperial power began to swell. Bureaucracies multiplied. The people who oversaw the postal system, the speculatores, had become the world's first full-fledged intelligence operation. Spies were everywhere, reporting any signs of rebellion in the provinces. Emperors were obsessed with maintaining control. Rome was moving slowly but surely towards the totalitarian regimes that would preside over its final collapse.
All right, we're back.
Those that don't learn from history are poised to repeat it, and that's exactly what's going on now.
We've got one more news item I want to cover, and then we will go to the phones. Those that are calling in right now, just hang on. We will take your calls shortly. Right now, our phone numbers are 704-873-1400 and 336-499-0681. Our email is onair@therealnewsradio.com. Any of the clips like that we play are on our website, therealnewsradio.com. Sometimes we don't get to play everything we bring down here. Sometimes we don't play them in their entirety. So if you feel free to check that out. I wanted to comment on this. Illinois Democrat introduces gun tracking bill. If Illinois Democrat Bobby Rush has his way, gun owners in America will be required to submit to federal government a photo, thumbprint, mental health records. Rush's proposed bill, H.R. 45, also known as the Blair Holtz Firearm Licensing and Record of Sale Act of 2009, will make it illegal to possess a qualifying firearm, especially any firearm that takes an ammunition clip without a license. Now listen to what we're saying. If passed, the law will amend the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act and prohibit a person from possessing a firearm unless that person has been issued a firearm license. It would establish and maintain a firearm injury information clearinghouse with the Attorney General. It should be noted that Obama's proposed Attorney General, Eric Holder, is a notorious gun grabber. In 2000, Barack Obama co-sponsored a bill that would have limited the purchase of handguns to one per month. According to the 1998 Illinois State Legislative National Policy Awareness Test of July 2nd, 1998, Obama also supports the banning of all semi-automatic weapon sales and transfers. Associated Content reported in March of last year the only reason to try to ban a whole class of guns with such a wide stroke is to start the progressive of banning all guns eventually. Now that Democrats control Congress and the executive, they will aggressively move to ban gun ownership. In the 20th century, the Second Amendment has become an anchorism, explains Brady Center. The rights guaranteed by the Constitution have never been absolute. The vast majority of the American people support reasonable gun control laws and view them as necessary to reduce the level of gun violence in this country. The framers of the Constitution, though, in my opinion, may not would agree. But I foresee this next administration, and probably in the immediate future, making broad steps to ban guns and ammunition. What do you think, Ron?
Well, the key word out of that entire article you just wrote was submit. And we'll never need the Second Amendment more than when they try to take it away from us. And the legislation to take the Second Amendment away from us, that's just the tip of the iceberg of tyranny. Underneath of that legislation, of course, is a much more sinister plot to control and manipulate us, turn us into slaves.
And something we've commented on here is people are aware of this. Just tell us of your experience going to a gun shop just yesterday.
Just yesterday, the Isle pawn shop in Mooresville, it was just packed. Jim and I were there yesterday. Of course, it was a Friday, about, 2 p.m. Mm-hmm. Packed. They were selling guns. There was at least 3 or 4 people up at the counter.
We got a phone call. We'll go ahead and start taking some phone calls. Hey, you're on the Real News.
I was calling. I've got some German Shepherd puppies I wanted to see about selling.
Home ad is on from 9 to 11, Monday through Friday.
Oh, I thought y'all did it today. All right, well, thank you anyway.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Again, the collapsing economy, everyone's trying to sell their assets while they're still worth something.
As we continue, we'll go ahead and go to the phones. The phone numbers are 704-873-1400. Our Davie County number is 336-499-0681. And I agree with you, Brian. I just took a ride through the country. I was telling Jim earlier, and houses for sale everywhere, cars for sale. And sadly, in my opinion, I think we're just at the beginning of this thing from all evidence. I mean, this stimulus package they're going to put out, it's like shooting a pea shooter to 747. It's not going to.
Absolutely.
The one last year didn't do anything. You know, you just said those that don't learn from history are doomed to repeat.
It, yeah.
And we're just repeating. We're repeating the same mistakes of the Depression.
Absolutely.
We're repeating the same mistakes of last year. And we're repeating the same mistakes of the bailout. We're attempting to bail out again. And it just blows my mind. But while we wait for phone calls, I've got another article that I wanted to read. We got a phone call. Hey, you're on the Real News.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Pretty good. This is Bill Anderson.
Yes, sir.
You have really hit the nail on the head this morning. And there's a few things I want to point out to you. First of the year, when Obama was running for president, he made the statement several times that on the 21st day that he was in office, he would bring the troops home. You remember that? Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, all through the campaign.
All right, now he is saying that he won't bring the troops home until Iraq's government can control their security. Did you know? That's exactly what President Bush has said ever since he went into Iraq. And you know, to me, that is nothing but a big political lie. And you know, when a man in the office as president lies about one thing, he will lie about another thing. And they have just approved Alex Holder as Attorney General. That crook frauded the government for $30,000 income tax. And you know what they're doing? They're saying that he just made a little mistake. Well, I don't have to pay any more income tax, do you? I just make a little mistake.
Well, even if it was a mistake, sir, I mean, do we really want someone running the finances of our entire country that forgets to...
Criminal? That's criminal.
Yeah, that's criminal. And you know, if he can get away with it, why can't I get away with it? You know, he's supposed to support the law.